Hello guys and welcome back to Makeup FOMO. Today I'm going to be doing my very first Empties video and it's going to be pretty small. A, because I don't go through products that much and I really wish I would go through more products. Well, kind of. I mean, I like that I don't like use up a ton of my makeup, so I'm not like, you know, just like wasting it. But I do wish that I like used up products so that I was like actually like making dents in my collection, if you know what I mean. Again, I feel like I have to keep saying this, but the background sucks. There's just like a ton of boxes and suitcases literally all over here, all behind me, pretty much everywhere. This is like the only place where I have like decent lighting and like a semi acceptable background. Not really. So I really hope that that doesn't bother anybody. We're gonna be moving in like 3 days and then hopefully, you know, we'll be on to something better. So like I said, there's not a ton of stuff here and a lot of the stuff is just like smaller sized things like samples and stuff like that, but I really just don't want to bring this trash with me when we move. I want to just get rid of it, so I figured might as well just show you what I have and hopefully you enjoy. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to mention, I really don't like this product at all. This is the Pantene Pro V in the Shower Foam Conditioner. I got this through Influencer, so they just like sent it to me for free to try out, and I was like really excited at the concept of this. Conditioner is a really important product to me. Well, it was more important when I had my long hair, but my hair was just so knotted all the time that I really needed something that was gonna like moisturize it and help like get the knots out and stuff like that. So I'm always really just interested to try out new conditioners, but this one was not good. If you guys have tried it, I would love to know what you thought about it. But since it was like a foam, it's kind of like basically like a hair mousse. When you actually started like lathering it and putting it in your hair, it almost just felt like it was so airy that it just like basically disappeared. And when I rubbed it in my hair, I just didn't feel like it was actually going into my hair. Like I just felt like it was like mushing out, I guess, if that makes any sense. You know when you have like mousse in your hands and then it kind of like almost disappears because it's so airy? I feel like this did that, and I just feel like conditioners need to be a little bit heavier and just like really conditioning. And I didn't feel like this did that. I felt like I had to use a ton of it, which is why I used it up already. I just feel like I had to use a lot of it to feel like it was doing anything. And even when I did use a lot of it, I didn't feel like it had an impact. Like my hair was still really knotty and hard to get through. So it says that it's for fine, flat hair, and it's an airlight nourishment with zero weight. And like, I would agree with that, but I don't think that that's like, at least for me personally, I'm not using my conditioner for anything other than to like really moisturize and like soak into my hair. So I think it needs to have weight to it, and this just doesn't. So I'm glad that I didn't pay for it. I just used it up for the sake of using it up, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. This next product is just a little sample of the Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Resist. It's basically just like an eye cream, an intensive eye contour cream, and this was very, very heavy in terms of like how thick that it was. This is the packaging. It felt really, really nice under the eyes, and it did do the job. There was only a couple uses in here, but it felt really nice and it was really creamy, so I'm not gonna buy it or anything like that, but it was really nice to use if you're looking for an eye cream. It did feel really nice. This next product is also a little sample. I think I must have gotten this in like a Birchbox or an Ipsy or something, and honestly I was just trying to use up some of my little like sample size things. I love getting samples because I love trying things out, but then I just feel like I have so many other products that these just kind of get lost in the mix and then you never end up using them. So I made a point to use some of these products. This one is the Daily Correct CC Cream with omega-3 and omega-6 from Supergoop. I guess that's the brand. It came in the shade light medium, so it's just like this little baby squeeze tube. So that's what it looks like. It's just this like little tiny bottle. I have never heard of the brand Supergoop before, and the shade light medium actually worked perfectly for me at this time of year, so I did get my use out of it, but it didn't really have a ton of coverage. Like it was nothing noteworthy. I certainly wouldn't buy it, but it did like match my skin tone pretty well, and it kind of just like evened out your skin tone. It was obviously just a CC cream, so it's not super full coverage. It has SPF 35 though, which is really good for the summer. So I have another little, this is kind of like a squeeze tube, but this is one of those like almost like foil ones where it's like, I don't know, this is called this is in a different language, so I really don't know. It's, oh, okay, I'm gonna say the English. Multifunction Nourishing Moisturizer. I feel like this is like, is this French or something? If you know what language that is, let me know. The brand is Embryolisse Laboratories. So this was basically just like a face lotion, so I was using it for that. there's really not a lot of face lotions that like take me by surprise and just like completely wow me. This one was just okay. There was actually a ton of product in this little guy. It's only 0.17 fluid ounces. Oh yeah, it says made in France. Okay, so that is French. I'm smart. But I feel like this took me a really long time to go through, and I don't use a ton of moisturizer at any given time, but I definitely, you know, lather my face up. So there's actually a lot of uses in this. I was using it for like at least a couple weeks, and kind of like I said, it was nothing to write home about. I'm not going to purchase it, but it got the job done. I guess since we're like kind of talking about moisturizers, I'll just mention this one, which is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream Intense Hydration. I feel like we've probably all seen or heard of or used this at one point. It's just a really deep hydrating repair cream, which I wasn't using it to like repair my skin. Like I don't have anything super dry going on. My skin is definitely pretty dry almost all the time, but the summer and the sun does dry out my skin. So I was using this just to see how I liked it, and kind of like with this one, like there was nothing super wowing me about it, but it definitely got the job done. And it doesn't really have much of a fragrance or anything, which I did like that. And kind of like with this one, like I got a lot of uses out of this as well. So definitely use your samples like from Ulta and all that kind of stuff, because you can actually like, they can go a long way. I have a little, oh, is there still some in here? Wait. No. I have a little perfume sample in here. This is the Tory Burch Love Relentlessly. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. It smells like a little bit mature. Like I could definitely imagine like moms wearing this, not grandmas, but it definitely kind of smells like a mom smell to me. I don't know what the notes are or anything like that. It definitely is like a little bit fruity, but like a little bit musky also, which is why I kind of feel like it has like a little bit more of a mature smell. But it is so good, and kind of like with all my samples, like this little vial, I definitely use it for probably every day for like a week. So same thing with your perfume samples. Definitely save them just to try them out, because not only could you just get a week's worth of good smelling, you know, fragrance out of it, but you also may find one that you really like, because I think this would be one that I would potentially purchase. And then what you can do, since these are so tiny, they don't take up any space, you could just stash them somewhere, keep them somewhere in your collection, and then when it comes time for you to like make a fragrance purchase, or maybe there's a sale, you can remember which ones you really liked. Oh shoot, did I save the bag? I'm so dumb. This was a little foundation sample that I got from Sephora, and of course I didn't save like the little baggie that they put it in, so I don't exactly remember. It's definitely the Laura Mercier, was that what it was? They're like one of their newer foundations. I'm like one of their newer full coverage foundations. I used this up a little while ago and I seriously didn't save the bag. That was so dumb. Wow, the background looks so good. But these samples, this was actually the first foundation sample I had ever gotten from Sephora. I was actually in there looking to test out or just purchase the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but all the Sephoras that I went to didn't have it, so she was like, try this one instead. So I was like, okay. The color, I don't know if you can tell, it's actually a pretty dark color, but it worked really well for my like darker summer skin tone. And I did really like this. It was pretty luminous and it did have really good coverage, but I didn't end up purchasing it or anything like that just because I didn't like fall in love with it. I just used it to use it. But like as far as foundations go, it was definitely good. It checked kind of all the boxes, but it didn't like wow me, you know, or do anything that like a ton of my other foundations don't do. So I didn't really feel like it was gonna be worth the money. But I did really like the sample, and I got at least probably like 4 faces out of this. I don't use a ton of foundation when I do my makeup, but I definitely probably got at least 3 or 4 uses, like full face applications out of this little guy. So definitely hit up Sephora and get a sample if you're eyeing a foundation. It's like a really good option. So I don't know what spilled on this that made it like purple, but this is the Clinique Universal Glow Sun Kissed Face Jelly. I like was trying to find out how to use this. I literally looked it up everywhere. The back of it doesn't tell you anything. The front of it doesn't tell you anything. Like nothing really tells you how to use this. It just calls it a complexion multitasker, and I was like, that's so vague. And then a face jelly, like what is this supposed to do? And like I said, I was just trying to use some stuff up, so I applied this, and it's like this color. It's like a copper color. So it kind of like makes you almost have like a self-tan kind of effect. It's a little bit luminous, but I didn't know, like, am I supposed to be looking darker from it, or is it just supposed to be like a luminous primer or a bronzy primer? It just says Universal Glow, but like it's not universal because it's really dark and it wasn't that glowy. so I really don't understand the concept of what these are supposed to be or what they're supposed to do. If you have it or you know what's the point of this, I'm mostly just curious because I already used it up. I just used it up to use it up, and it was not that awesome, but I just want to know what's the point of this. So if you know, tell me. So I have two mascaras in here. Actually, the first one is the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Original. This is like literally the OG mascara that we all knew and love. It just has like your really typical bristle wand, and this is obviously in the darkest shade, Blackest Black. This is like a cult classic. Actually, on my eyes today, I have the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, which these actually have similar wands. This one just has like the hourglass shape, whereas this is just like your full bristle brush. And this is really good. I had this for a long time. I feel like this lasts really well. It works just as good when it's super wet or when it dries out and gets a little bit older, and it like just always works. Like, this is just a mascara that you can rely on. So I'm sure probably all of you have tried it at this point. This was like the OG mascara, like when YouTube first became a thing in the beauty world, and so it's still like a classic. You can't go wrong with it. I definitely recommend it if you haven't tried it yet. And then another mascara that I used up, which was definitely from like a Birchbox, I believe. This is the Marcel Curling and Lengthening Mascara. Extension plus curl. So it's like, it's a pretty decent size sample. It's not super small, and I actually was using it for at least a couple of months. This has kind of a curved, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of like a curved wand, and it's a rubberized brush, which is my preference. I do really like a rubberized brush, and I like the bristles on this. They're really spread out and kind of spiky, and I did like the curl component to it. I do think that it was really nice, especially for the lower lashes, because you can use, you know, the curl for the upper lashes, but then you can kind of use like the hump here to really get close to your lower lashes. So I mostly use it as a lower lash mascara, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it like does extension plus curl, like there's no fibers or anything like that in it, but it was a perfectly good mascara. I'm not gonna purchase it or anything like that. I have 100,000 mascaras, but I think the packaging is kind of cute, and like it definitely worked. Two more things and we are all done. This I actually love. This is like a super baby size sample of the Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 like prime set and refresh little spray. I didn't even know that they made samples this small of like setting sprays, but they do. Look how freaking adorable this little guy is. It's basically almost like a perfume vial. It has like the little spritzer right there, but I really liked this. I only got probably like 3 or 4 uses out of it. There's not much in it, and when I set my face, I don't go crazy, but I do like to have like a decent amount of product on there just so I really feel like it actually set my face and locked my makeup in. The thing I loved the most about this was the smell. It smells like coconuts. It's a primer and a setting spray, I guess, but I really only used it at the end of my makeup, and I always looked forward to it because it smelled so good. Like, you could use this as a perfume and you would be super happy with it because it smells so good. And I really feel like it left my face very like luminous. It really set everything in, like melded all my makeup together. I pretty much loved everything about it, so I would definitely consider purchasing this or getting like a bigger, like a travel size one, because I really liked this, but I also have like 100,000 setting sprays, so I wouldn't be trying it out anytime soon, but I would love to have a bigger size of this because I really liked it. And the very last thing I have is a Physicians Formula Eye Booster eyeliner pen. This is super popular here on YouTube. You guys have probably tried it or at least heard about it before, but this is the #1 like best eyeliner from Physicians Formula. It has a really nice fine brush tip applicator, and this is in the shade Ultra Black, which is definitely like blacker than obviously like their black shades, so definitely make sure you get the Ultra Black if you try this out. But this lasted me like, I feel like 6 months or even longer. Like, this lasted me forever. I don't use like a liner that often though, like maybe a couple times a week, so that's probably why if you use it a lot it won't last you that long. But it just never got dried out, and that's what I don't like about eyeliner pens sometimes, is like the tip just gets so dry that you end up not being able to use it, or you kind of end up wasting product because you just can't get all of it out. What I didn't like about this very much though is that over time the tip of this brush just got like kind of funky. Like, the product got kind of clumped up on it, and it just like wasn't as easy to control anymore. So when I was trying to do like wings and stuff like that, it got really like kind of out of control. So I just started pretty much using it to line the top of my lid, but I wasn't able to use it for wings anymore. When you first purchase it though, it's really like a nice fine controlled tip, so you could definitely do wings and whatever else with it. It's definitely a little pricey for a drugstore eyeliner. I think it's like $15 or something like that, but it's cheaper than like the Stila Stay All Day and like obviously higher end ones. So it's kind of right in the middle there, but I think that it works really well. This is not waterproof or anything. I don't know if they have a waterproof version. And this also says it's a lash boosting eyeliner plus serum. So I don't know what about it makes it a serum. I did not notice it doing like anything serum-y, but it works really good. It's super, super black. It doesn't dry like super matte, but I always set my liner with a powder, like a black eyeshadow, so it eventually is matte for me, but it's not super matte once it dries, but it is really black, and it's just a really good product. My camera just stopped recording. I don't know why, but that's actually it for this video. I guess it wasn't that small. There was like 11 products I just counted, so it's not, I feel like I see some Empties videos with like a ton of products and they're all like full-size products like this kind of thing, and I'm like, yo, how are you using up full-size products, like whole bottles of foundation and stuff, like on the regular? I don't know how people do it. I might not wash my hair as much as people or use as much product on my face as people do, but this is pretty good for me. I definitely think that going through products is a really good way to like get a feel for them, and it also gives you guys an idea, kind of like a little mini review of things that I definitely really like and then the things that I didn't really like that much, but it kind of gives you a sense of some things that I'm using that I don't use on camera that you guys might be curious about. So that is everything for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed talking about my garbage. I'm so excited that I can throw this stuff away and I don't need to bring it on the move. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Did I already say that? If you would like to subscribe, we would love to have you. We have so much fun here. And until our next video, I will see you guys then. Bye, guys.